Alright guys, welcome back. This is not a tutorial. This video will actually be a review on the knife I'm using in most of my tutorials, all except one, which is the Alpha Beast Infinity, right here. This is the latest Alpha Beast model from BRS. This is my favorite knife I've ever flipped, which isn't saying much because my collection hasn't been that great. Currently in my collection I have, I'll show you real quick. I have these. I have my Chimera 7 right here, and I have my Titanium 51 right up there, if you can even see that, if it's in frame. But over the years I've flipped my stock G10 51 for a year until I got these titanium scales. I've had the Chimera since I was 12 years old. I've been flipping since I've been 12, so it's almost 5 years now. Like the summer of 2012 is when I started flipping, so this summer will mark like 5 years I've been flipping. I know I started pretty young, but yeah. And then I've had a bare bones, which I didn't like. It just didn't fit my style, so I traded it, / sold it for some stuff. And then I had a Benchmade 67, which I actually sold to my dad in order to get the bare bones. And now this is my newest piece, which is the Alpha Beast Infinity, which I've had for, if I'm not mistaken, about a month or almost a month. And I gotta say, this thing won't be getting rid of this ever, probably. This will probably be passed down to my children, to their grandchildren, if that ever happens. You know, it would get depressing. But yeah, this knife overall is pretty great in my opinion. There are some things I do like about it. There's a lot of things I do like about it, and there's very few things I don't like about it. And I'll be making comparisons to all the other knives that I've flipped. So first off, the Alpha Beast Infinity is about 10 inches long. It has a S35 VN blade, which is, I guess, an upgrade. I'm not a big blade steel guy. I just know that this is a really good blade steel, from what people have told me. Oh, there's some wood on my blade tip. Oh no, I chipped it. Oh well. It has tang pins. It's got the 3.0 hardware. It has rounded handles and a crown spine, which I know a lot of people are happy about the crown spine. I know a lot of people are also not so happy about the rounded handles, though. A lot of people feel that they are too round, a lot of people feel that they could be too thin, and a lot of people claim just like the bulkier, also heavier version of the Alpha Beast 3.0. Now, this is, I believe, 0.3 ounces heavier than the stock Alpha Beast, which I like. A lot of guys like myself like lighter knives, which is why I love the 51. It will always be one of my favorite knives because it is so light. This is around the same weight as my Fly-Tie 51 as well. The lightness really helps for vertical stuff. It just feels a little bit better in the hand and stuff like that. Yeah. Also, the Infinity comes with a pocket clip, which the stock AB does not have on it. So the pocket clip's pretty great. I mean, there's not really much I could say about a pocket clip. So yeah. I'd first like to start off to say that these handles are not too round. I've seen much rounder handles. They're also not too thin. I had felt that the bare bones was too thin, and that was just like little chamfered edges on that blade. That wasn't rounded. This knife is still thick enough and bulky enough that you have full control over this knife. The only reason, I'm going to say the only reason that I could ever say anything bad about this knife is because I feel like the roundness can kind of roll in between your fingers during 0G ladders, but that is the only time it really rolls away from me, because I have a tendency to put a lot of pressure on my pinky and my ring finger to the point where it can roll on its own. But that actually might be my bad. So that's not even really something I dislike about it. That's something I need to improve with. So yeah. I really like this because it has a easily removable latch. This is the first knife I haven't had to take apart to remove the latch. Actually, my Chimera, you can just unscrew a screw, but it's also a really nice bonus on this knife. Yeah. This knife, I know since it's lighter, one of my main concerns was that maybe it doesn't chaplain as well as a stock Alpha Beast. It could have some very different characteristics than what I was hoping for from a stock Alpha Beast on this Alpha Beast. But I have to say, this knife chaplains better than any knife I've ever handled, ever. It does 0G chaps really well. It does vertical chaps. It does horizontal chaps. It does pinky chaps. It does everything tremendously well. So, no complaints here on my end about the chaplains. So, yeah. With the way this knife feels, the aerials are really great. Nothing wrong in the aerial department there. The tang pin edges, I was always a Zen pin guy, and I was actually worried about the tang pins messing with me on this knife and having to get used to it. But no, that's not the case at all. This knife actually feels very comfortable, excuse me, to chaplain with. And there's no horns either. There's absolutely no pinching on this knife whatsoever. It's just a great flipper. This knife was kind of difficult for me to get used to at first because it is so long, as it is 10 inches, and I know the Flytanium 51, and the Bradley Chimera is actually shorter. I'll show you a size comparison right here. The handles are lined up together. There's the size difference between the blades, and I'll line the handles up together at the pivots, and here is the handle difference, and that is quite a bit. This knife is much more to hold on to than the Flytanium 51, and it chaplains a lot better than that as well. I have to say, this is a lot more knife to hold on to. There is a lot more going on in the handle than that Flytie 51, and even stock 51 for that matter. You have these awesome chevrons here, and you have this huge open hole right here, and then you got this thick butt right here on the handle that just adds that weight for it to make it a perfect chaplain machine. So yeah, it has a drop off right here. This is like their clip point, drop point, whatever you want to call it. It's not sharpened on this wedge or anything like that. I know people who do get it sharpened there sometimes. Vertical stuff, it's really great. This knife, I have to just say that this is a personal thing for me. It sounds amazing. If you've been playing with this for a while and you think it doesn't sound all that great, slap some oil on it and oh, it just sounds good as new, dude. It's so great. I prefer to flip latchless, but right now I got a paracord latch on it. You know, I just feel like I should have a latch on like the sharpest knife and one knife that I don't really want anybody else touching in my collection. So yeah, I don't know anything about this knife EDC wise. I know it is a sharp motherfucker though, I'll say that. Here, it's an old Coca-Cola box. Sure. Minimal to no effort. It cuts amazingly. Yeah, I'll pick that up later. Yeah, it is great. The tip on it was really fine. I've dropped it quite a bit on my carpet though, and it's kind of dulled it out a little bit. But it'll still stab something or something. Sorry. I imagine this is a good knife for EDC. Let me just use the pocket clip real quick. The pocket clip is nice and tight. This thing will not fall out of your pocket. It rides pretty deep in your pocket, but it's not very heavy, so you don't really notice it that much. It's like, you know, I would recommend using a really tight latch though, because especially with a battle song in your pocket, you don't want this thing falling open. I honestly recommend just using a sheath for EDCing a bally, especially since most states, in the US anyway, want you to open carry it. You can't really conceal carry this in a lot of places, so you know, I can use a Benchmade sheath for this if I move somewhere where it's legal. But even then I wouldn't carry this because this is my pride and joy. If I'm going to carry anything, I'll carry that 51. Retail on this is $460 USD. I know some people have sold them on the secondary market for like $450, which is not a big price drop, which I don't think it deserves to have that big a price drop, because this thing is amazing. I am really happy with the $460 I paid for it. There was a lot of weird stuff going on about this knife. I know a lot of people, like I said, were worried about it being too thin. They were worried about it being too round and too expensive. But with the tool that you're getting from this and the flipper that you're getting from this, it's well worth it, in my opinion. I agree, it's expensive, but you don't get into this hobby thinking you're only going to pay $30 for something that's going to last you a lifetime. This will last you a lifetime if you take care of it. Again, on the too thin and too round part, it has a very nice flat edge here that is very smooth. You are going to be able to chaplain on this. Don't worry, it's not going to roll at all. You're going to be able to do any rollover that you want. Not a big rollover guy, but you know, I can do them. And this knife does them very well. It still carries over with that momentum very well, with the weight it has in the back of the handles still. That was my main concern with this, is that it wasn't going to have the weight in the back of the handles with the weight drop, but it still amazes me. Every time I get to flip this knife, it feels like I'm dreaming, because I never thought I would really have an Alpha Beast of my own. And honestly, I'm still kind of getting used to it. It still feels a little bit awkward to flip this thing, going from a Chimera and a 51, but everything about it is great. I recommend this knife for anybody who wants to flip. If you like flipping and you just want another Alpha Beast, this is a great Alpha Beast. If you want a knife for EDC, this is a great knife for EDC. Just feels so smooth. It sounds so smooth. There's really not much else I could say about it. It's going to hold that edge. The chevrons here and the big hole here make it very comfortable. You know where you are. There's nothing uncomfortable about it, except for maybe when you're learning choker fanning with that big hole there. But honestly, you don't even really feel it after a while. So again, just great. I haven't personally used the customer service from BRS, but I've heard that they're pretty great. So I can't tell you much on that department. I've heard things about the screws falling out. I've had no issue with that lately. The tolerances on this knife, the blade, the handle play, look, almost none. There's no wiggle on that thing, and I haven't had any wiggle. I have not tuned this thing since I've got it about a month ago. No wiggle on it. So yeah, there's not really much else I could say. It's great for vertical stuff, it's great for horizontal stuff, and it's great for zero-G stuff. This isn't really an in-depth review on all the specifications of it, because you can just find that on a website. I'm talking about the flipping of this thing. The flipping of it is, it's great. I can't say really anything bad about this. It's not too round, it's not too thin. The spine is so comfortable, you don't even notice that you're flipping on a blade edge, or not an edge, but like a spine. I know with the bare bones, I hated that spine. I wanted to round it so bad, I just didn't have the know-how or the tools to do so. Yeah. The tank pins don't bother me at all. They haven't become loose. Nothing on this knife has become loose. No screws, no pivot heads. They have really nice block spacers in them. They're nice and flush. Yeah. The latch, I don't like latches. The only reason I have this on it is just to keep it locked up and secure, so, you know, I don't know. There's not really a reason for it. I just like it. I think it kind of looks neat. Very sharp. Very well done handles. Blade steel is very great. Rounded spine is phenomenal. 3.0 hardware is beautiful. Hasn't come loose on me yet. It has bushings in it. This is the first knife I've actually had with bushings, because I don't think the 6X series has bushings from Benchmade. I'm pretty sure they're just running on a washer system. I think the 87 is the first knife, the first Balisong they're coming out with bushings. Don't know, but yeah, this is a great knife. I'd recommend it if you want to pick one up and you've been thinking about it. for the price. I know it's a little steep. What I used is a Blade HQ actually has a payment plan, which is pretty great. So you can actually just pay this off with like 115 bucks a month, which is basically what I did. Well, you can always pay it off sooner, but yeah, this is a great knife. If you want to pick it up, go pick it up. That's all I'm going to say. Kind of wasting time now. I just love it. It's so good. Alright, peace. And also, before I go, let me know what tutorials you guys want to see. I made one for the Z choker, and my last one was for the Volt trick. So let me know what else you guys want to see. So.